Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of the repatriation request form on SARS. This is the repatriation request form. This form is for the submission of requests for the return of remains of individuals that died in exile during the liberation struggle. In order to have access to the form, you need to scroll down on this landing page. You will see information about the Exile Repatriation Project, and here you will get the digital form. Should you be unable to complete the form online, you can be able to contact these two officials, Ms. Madeline Fullard on these following contact details, Mr. Troy Pili on these following contact details, or you are able to scroll further down and be able to download the form physically from this link. Once you download the form, you'll be able to print and complete the form. Once you've completed this form, you may be able to scan and send on email. SARS is short for the South African Heritage Resources Information System. The system is used by heritage management authorities to handle and track applications pertaining to South Africa's heritage resources. This form can be accessed and filled in using a web browser, PC, tablet, or mobile phone. Please be advised that the information captured in this form is protected on SARS and will not be distributed or shared with the public. Your first step will be to accept the terms and conditions. You indicate your role as the applicant. You could be either a family member, a friend of the deceased, a member of the same organization, a researcher, a curator, a consultant, or a representative. For the example or purpose of this video, we'll select family. The first section of the form requires your contact details as the applicant, and this is where you complete your contact details, and you also indicate if you have ever applied for special pensions. Once you've completed this information, you confirm that the details provided on your profile are true and correct. The next section of the form requires information about the deceased. The case title is to give a short title for the application. In this section, it is advised that you mention the name of the deceased. This is the best way to track the case's progress. Make sure it includes the individual's name that died in exile, and then proceed to provide information about the deceased. The next section of the form requires information about the death of the deceased, country of death, town or area of death, date of death, or at least the period in which they died in. It will also require you to explain how they died, the cause of death, the description of injuries, and if you saw or you know of the injuries or were you told about the injuries of the deceased. Following that, information about the burial, the country in which where the deceased was buried, the area in which they were buried. Should you have a picture or a photograph of the burial, you are able to upload this information onto this section. For the purpose of this exercise, here is an example of how you upload a photograph for this application. you would go onto your saved documents, wherever your photograph is saved, you click on it, you open, you give it a few seconds, and once it appears in this format, it will be uploaded. The next portion of the request form is that you provide information about the family members of the deceased, starting with the parents, siblings, spouse, and children of the deceased. The children of the deceased can be those who were born in South Africa or outside of South Africa in exile. Then the form will require you to provide declaration that the information provided here is truthful and you have not left out any relatives. The form will then require you to provide consent. Here you will be providing consent, and this consent should come from at least two family members for the repatriation of the mortal remains of political exiles who have died in and are buried outside of South Africa. Relatives 1 information details will go in here: their full name and surname, ID number, telephone number, home address, relationship to the deceased, the date in which you are completing the form, signature of the first relative, it goes in here. The second relative, they will also provide their full name and surname, ID number, home address, cell phone number, relationship to the deceased, date in which the form is being completed, signature of the relative, and you may then click on submit. Once you've clicked on submit, please give it a few seconds. A green line will appear and confirmation of your submission will reflect on the screen. Thank you for following this guide and all the best with your application. Goodbye.